It was just past midnight when I realized I wasn't alone. I had moved into a small apartment in a quiet suburb, the kind of place where everyone waves at each other during the day, but the nights were completely different. That evening, I was curled up on the couch, laptop on my knees, watching old crime documentaries to help me fall asleep, when I heard the faintest scraping noise from the kitchen. At first, I thought it was the fridge settling, maybe a loose pipe, but then it came again soft, deliberate, like someone dragging a finger along the countertop. My heart started racing, and I froze, waiting. Nothing else made a sound. I told myself I was imagining it, that my mind was playing tricks because I had watched too many shows about I even laughed nervously at myself, convincing myself I was overreacting. Then, I heard a whisper, not loud, barely audible, but unmistakably someone saying my name. My blood ran cold. I slowly got up, moving toward the kitchen, every creak of the floor under my feet echoing in the empty apartment. The lights flickered for a second as if on cue, and then I saw it. A faint shadow slipping behind the pantry door. I reached out, telling myself it was just a trick of the light, maybe a coat someone had left. But as I stepped closer, I realized the door had been locked all night. Whoever or whatever's inside had gotten in without a key. I backed away slowly, trying not to panic, and dialed the apartment office, hoping someone was on duty, but the line was dead. That's when the scraping returned, now behind me. I spun around, only to find the hallway empty. The apartment silent again except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. My mind was racing. Was this some burglar testing the waters? Or something far worse? I stayed awake until dawn, watching every shadow, imagining every footstep. The next day, the building management told me the previous tenant had been violently attacked in the same apartment at night, and the case had never been solved. I couldn't shake the feeling that what I experienced wasn't random. Some doors open at night without anyone having the key ND. Some of them, once opened, never close. Quietly, if you enjoy real-life horror deep dives like this, make sure you resubscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. The second night was even worse, and I still replay every detail in my head. This time, it wasn't my apartment, it was my cousin's house. An older home on the edge of town with creaky floorboards and a dark attic that no one ever went into. I had stayed over because I needed a break from my apartment, hoping a familiar place would calm my nerves after the previous night. Around midnight, I was lying in the guest room, scrolling through my phone, when I heard soft footsteps above me. At first, I thought it was my cousin's cat, but the sound was too heavy, deliberate, like someone pacing. I assumed he had gotten up to get a glass of water, but when I called his name, there was no answer. The footsteps stopped. Silence. And then, slowly, a soft thumping started, not the thump of a ceiling, but from inside the walls themselves. My pulse quickened. I tried to tell myself it was just an old house settling, but the rhythm was too steady, too intentional. I got up to check the hallway, my bare feet cold on the wooden floor. The living room was empty, the kitchen dark. And then I noticed the back door, which my cousin always locked, was slightly ajar, though I could swear I had seen it locked earlier. I froze. A cold, metallic smell filled the air. Blood. Rust. I couldn't tell. My instincts screamed at me to leave, but I wanted to understand what was happening. I edged toward the stairs leading to the attic, the source of the sounds, each step feeling like it was echoing in my skull. When I reached the attic door, I saw something that has haunted me ever since. Small, deliberate scratches along the frame, fresh, like claws or nails. But no one was up there. I couldn't find anything when I looked inside. The space was empty, save for dust and old furniture, but the scratches didn't make sense. No animals, no intruders that I could see. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. By morning, my cousin's cat was perched on the stairs as if nothing had happened, and the back door was locked again. I've never stayed there at night since, but sometimes, when I drive past the house in the evening, I swear I see a shadow pacing behind the windows, moving with a purpose that doesn't belong to anything living. What happened next is part of the same experience, the same person, the same sequence of nights that started in my apartment and followed me somewhere else. BT's point, I hadn't told anyone what I had already experienced during those first 2 nights. But I couldn't shake the feeling that, whatever it was, it hadn't stayed behind. And then there was the third night. The one that still makes my stomach knot every time I think about it. This happened in a small town in northern Michigan, at a friend's cabin by the lake. I had been invited for a weekend getaway, thinking it would be peaceful just. The quiet of the woods, the water lapping against the shore, and a chance to forget the previous 2 nights. The first evening was calm, even cozy. We sat by the fire, talked, and laughed. But when everyone else went to bed, I stayed up to watch the stars from the deck. That's when I noticed movement across the lake, just beyond the reflection of the moon. At first it looked like a canoe, someone fishing late. But as I squinted, I realized the canoe wasn't moving normally. There was no paddle, no wake. Hoost, a figure, upright, gliding silently across the water. My first thought was someone in trouble, but instinct told me to stay put. I ran inside to grab binoculars, thinking I could get a closer look. But by the time I returned to the deck, the figure was gone. Unease settled over me, and I decided to go back inside the cabin. That's when the noises started. Faint knocking at the windows, soft scratches along the walls. I convinced myself it was just wind, maybe a branch scraping, but the sounds moved with intent, circling the cabin. I checked every window locked. Intact, but the knocking continued. Faster now? Almost impatient, my phone had no signal, and the silence outside had turned thick, oppressive. Then I heard it. A slow, deliberate breathing behind the main door. My hand froze on the knob. I couldn't see anything, yet the air felt heavy, like someone or something was leaning in. I whispered a shaky hello, and the breathing stopped instantly. I didn't dare open the door. Hours passed. By the first hint of dawn, everything was quiet. No tracks outside. No evidence of anyone being there. But when I left the cabin that morning, I noticed something chilling on the wooden deck. Small, wet footprints, spaced like a child's, leading to the lacande, then disappearing into the water, as if they had never existed. I've never returned to that cabin alone, and every time I think about it, I wonder, was it human, or something that simply mimicked what it saw, waiting for the perfect moment to make its presence known? These 3 nights taught me something that's hard to put into words. Fear isn't always loud. Sometimes, it whispers your name, scratches behind walls, or glides silently across the water. And the most terrifying part, it doesn't always leave evidence behind. If you've ever been alone at night, think carefully about the sounds you ignore, the shadows you dismiss. Some of them may not be imaginary, and some of them you might never see coming. If you've ever experienced something like this, or know someone who has, comment below and share your story. And if you want more true life horror that digs beneath the surface of what we think we know, send this video to someone who grew up watching horror movies, and make sure you resubscribe. You might just think twice the next time you hear a sound in the dark.